your cars.
Welcome, race fans, to the NORL Busch Bonanza and the Rockingham Speedway. Sorry, I just ran upstairs. For coverage of the Jiffy Pop 300. Let's go through our grid here real quick. Starting on the pole, Dave Daniels alongside of Mike Heron. Then we have Patrick Helgel and Frank Womack. Philip Parker, Doug Spark, Ken Joint, and Tommy Davis. Brandon Rains and Aaron Cummings. Jared Mogard, John Cheeseman. Mondre Diggs and Kevin Corbett. Mark Guthrie starting on the outside. Brendan Kuzmansevis. Still don't think I'm getting that name right. Adam Beresford and Joel Polson. Mike Carroll and David Courtney. Tony Tonto Jr. and Ronaldo Scott. Joe Mersdorf and PDJ Zeller. Matt Bontempi and Jim Fitzmaurice. Stephen Davis, Alex Stello. David Baldinger and Nigel Ramaswamy. Scott Drake and Connor Germain. Jackson Vatcher and Rabo Womack. Stephen Lowe and JT Armstrong. Ron Stout and Broderick Whitman are already touching doors. Stephen Lowe. 23 is Brian Lowe. I think I said the wrong Lowe there. And the 7 car of Jack Painter. On the back of the grid, we have Ben White and Dwight York. 295 laps will make up the event.
Drivers, start your engines!
Engines have fired. We're going to roll off. Pace car hits the wall like they always do at Rockingham. It's the Rockingham wall hit tradition, as Tony would probably say. And the cars make it out onto the backstretch. Field was set by top 20 from last season, and then a pair of heat qualifying sessions to fill out the rest. JT Armstrong made it in on points from last season because Kevin Corbett raced his way in, as did everybody between him and 20th from last season. So we'll see JT today due to that. Just missed out. Pace car comes in. And we are green from the rock. Daniels jumps ahead right off the get. Field thunders down Thunder Alley. Building speed and trying to get a little sorted out here. Here on into second. Calgill going for third. Parker having a look. Here comes Parker on the inside. Still fighting for this spot, and I think the 79 machine might get it. Parker moves up a spot, and the 3 gets out of shape on the exit, had to lift, stacked everybody up behind him. Battle for the lead. Mark's gotten back up here. Dave's going to have to fight for it. And Mark's going to take the lead here at the line. Lead change. New leader, 0-1. Field's starting to get themselves a little sorted out here. First real fight. Well, it looks like it just settled down. Davis and Joint. Tell you what, I think that new paint scheme on the 7.8 looks much better than what they were campaigning last season. Subtle changes, sometimes the best. A fight back here between Baldinger and Stephen Davis. This is the battle for 17th. Doug Spark and Kevin Corbett just behind this battle. Davis fading backwards just a bit at the moment. Kevin and Doug going to get side by side back there. And Kevin's going to overhaul Stephen Davis as well. Puts Kevin up at the P19. This is a track that eats tires. It eats tires like I eat junk food. And Daniels has taken the lead back over while we weren't watching, so this battle up front not dying down. The Binford Tools machine back out in front. Look at the front of the field starting to pull away. Rockingham, one of the more unique stops on the calendar. Very odd shaped track, not quite a mile, a little bit over. Weird dogleg on the front half. Corners aren't really all that identical either. Different approaches, slightly different bank angles. It creates a challenge, and when you add to that a surface that chews up these tires, it can be a handful for the crew chief and the driver. get on board this 01 car. Let's go to the front bumper cam. Chasing the Binford Tools machine. Oh, he slid up the track here a little bit. We're getting a run. Yeah, came right back out though. Still trying to hunt him down, but not really making a whole lot of inroads here, are we? Womack's starting to close in a little bit here. He's moved him. Whoops. Daisy. He's moved himself up into the third spot. It's been a dominant car all season. Not showing any signs of stopping here. And Womack's moved himself up into the second spot. Let's see if he's going to make a charge here at Daniels. I think it's quite likely. Said tire wear is going to be a big factor here. We're going to have comers and goers all day as people burn out their tires. And the 19 is slow down the back. just crawling along on the apron. I think they're going to be able to recover him without much trouble. So we'll see what happens as the 01 charging back on Frank. Sounds like the 19's got a tire that has gone down. Battle for seconds brought Phil Parker up to him. Womack back into second. Now Parker going for third. They brought Jared up to this battle as well. Here comes Mogard. He's going to sail on through. Whoop, nope. Didn't have enough of a run there to make the clearance move. Gonna have to fight for it now. Tries to get him here in 3 and 4. And he gets the job done. Here comes Calgal. Do a little singing for a chat I'm in. You picked a fine time to leave me loose, wheel. Somebody posted a United flight lost a wheel leaving San Francisco recently, and nobody had made that joke yet. So now Daniel's checking his mirror. He sees Womack now behind him. See what the gap is at the line. Gap's closing. Lost 0.2 to Womack that time around. Long angle up on the roof. See an idea what that gap looks like. An idea how close the back of the field is to getting lapped. And Womack's closing. 1/4 second gone that lap. Traffic will, of course, play a factor here like it does in most races, but on these smaller tracks, traffic really plays a big factor. Just being able to get through it like we saw last week. Gap now under 1/2 second. Frank is closing in here. 19 cars now 6 laps down after that tire failure. started to stretch it back out again. He's at least slowed the close of this 48 car on him, if not stopped it entirely for the moment, but the traffic is looming large ahead. And look at all that traffic. This is one of those tracks, once you get into traffic, you're going to be in it until yellow comes out, basically. So, for this green flag run, we are done with the open track for the leader. Let's catch this 57. I'll try to get right past this 57 machine. But York's not going to give him a lot to work with. Going to the inside. And he's past the 57. And Joe Polson, next victim on the list. The key is to take your time, but not too much time. You can give up a lot of time getting in trouble with traffic, and you can certainly give up a race so if you try to get too rash. It's all a balancing act, knowing when to take, knowing when to give. He's going to get 2 for 1 down the front stretch that time. That's going to help him build a little bit of a buffer here. Jermaine next on the chopping block. And the Chili's ride has lost a lap. Whitman will be next. Womack trying to figure out how to get through this traffic. Parker's closed up on him. Ron Stout trying to follow the leader through, pick up some spots here. Now he's going to have to fight with Jermaine. Gonna have a battle here for second. Right quick driving like this. Womack going to go to the outside of Polson. That didn't work. Parker's gone past him now. Parker right on the 007 here. Willing him past his 22 so he can also make a move and pass the 007. Leader in traffic. And Mogard right there with Frank now. Battle for second heating up some more. 3-car battle now. Parker, Womack, Mogard. getting bound up in traffic here. It's the same traffic for everybody, but sometimes you just don't catch a car in the right spot. Daniel's trying to stretch out through the traffic. Use traffic to your advantage. It can put you in a great spot in a race like this. Womack might get a look at second here as Parker's gone high. Here comes Womack. And Frank Womack back into second. Womack's made a little gap for himself here. Daniel's hitting another wad of cars ahead of him. Just trying to pick his way through. Lapping into the low 30s now. These leaders coming through really are just sort of mixing up the traffic back here. As Ken Joints moved into fourth. Mark Huron faded back to seventh now after running good early and leading a lap earlier in the race. Cummings knocking on the top five now. Guess we could do a little bit of through the field action. Dave Daniels, your leader. Frank Womack currently sitting in second, trying to work his way through some traffic to get up there. Philip Parker in third. Ken Joint in fourth. Fifth spot belongs, for now, Jared Mogard. Aaron Cummings right on. And we got Mark Huron, Patrick Calgill, Mike Carroll running in the ninth spot. Holding 10th at the moment. Ooh, was that a pass for position? I think it was. Yep, Raines moved into 10th. 11th now belongs to Tommy Davis. Mark Guthrie sitting in 12th. There's the pace car. Brandon Cruz Monseves in 13th. Kevin Corbett, nice run so far in 14th. John Cheesman behind him in 15th. 16th is Joe Mersdorf. 17th, Ramondre Diggs. 18th, Jackson Vetcher. Doug Spark in 19th. Rounding out the top 20, David Baldinger. 21st, Raybo Womack. 22nd, Stephen Lowe. Then we got Scott Deutsch and Matt Bontempi. Stephen Davis 25th. PDJ Zeller 26th. Adam Beresford in 27th. Ronaldo Scott 28th. 29th, Alex Stello. David Courtney in the 30th spot. And there's the leader directly behind him. 30 cars on the lead lap. That was through the field. And we got through all the lead lap cars without causing a caution. Look at this wad of cars back here. Womack trying to clear the lap car on the outside. I don't think that's working as Ken Joint slowly works his way forward. He's now up into fourth. Correction, up into third. Cummings has worked his way top five now. Ooh, Womack, bad run off the corner. Here comes Ken Joint. Ken Joint to second. 3 wide behind him with the lap of traffic. Parker, the meat in the sandwich there. Huron trying to rebound. Work his way back forward once again. Womack's going to try to get the second spot back. Meanwhile, Dave Daniels getting away from him. And Frank Womack back to P2. Daniels finding a little bit of empty track out there. Not a ton, but there's a little break in the field right around 30th. Jeez, that's loud. What did he just send me? Everybody's sending me things all at once here in the middle of the race. Is Alex Stello going to lose a lap here? Lap time's really dropping off here. And we have a caution. Caution on the Speedway. There has been an incident. Let's see if we can figure... Oh, Kevin. What has happened to Kevin? He was having such a good run. Oh, there's... Oh, no. Something happened to Ken first. Ken Joints had an engine failure and wiped out... Oh, no. So, Ken went off into turn 1 here, and the motor let go. He's trying to get down. Still trying... Gives up. I think he got oil on the tires. Gets up into the wall. And Kevin's just... Oh, Kevin just smokes him. John Cheeseman gets into it. Mersdorf hits him. Doug Spark gets through. That's really bad. So, multiple cars involved due to an engine failure on the 33 car. Pit road's just been opened. And everybody's in. Who's going to win the race off of pit road? '54 comes out, but I think he was a lap down now. Daniels will win the race off. Well, let's see. Yep. So the 68 and the 23 apparently were already out of the race. We didn't even see them fail. 33's done, 55's done, 46 is done. That'll put 5 cars out of the race. Take a little while for Ben White to get them all. 54 has damage for sure. Why start on the pace car? They're going to line the 54 up at the front of the field for some stupid reason. Where are there? I was supposed to say, where are the lap cars? There they are. So Kevin, at least because he was able to drive the car back, did pick up 2 spots more than he could have been at, but that's unfortunate. Just came off the corner and there was a stopped car there. I don't know what happened with that 33, but it looked like he got oil on the tires. And yeah, just the worst place for Kevin to be in the field. Pace car's in. Green, green, green. Oh yeah, that 54 is in trouble. And it's holding up the 0. 0's going to get to his inside. This car's going to be in the way though. Ooh, a little bit of contact there down the back. Womack and Daniels have gotten by the slower traffic. But a lot of shuffling here in the field from this. Ooh, a couple of cars up in the fence. A couple diving for the pit road with an issue. And we got some cut tires after that restart. And Raybo and Mark Huron just hit the wall. Monday Diggs all the way up to 3rd. What a great restart. He was able to work the traffic perfectly. Aaron Cummings finally able to try to make a move on this 54. He's gone way back through the field. This 54 is well off song. And it's probably more in the way than racing anybody now. The 40 and the 45 have resumed. They're at the back of the field. Pass this 54. They're going to try to. They don't get there. 19 might be even further off song for some reason. See how long the 40 and the 45 even sit behind him here. Immediately to the inside. And straight past him goes the 40. Here comes the 45. That's the back of the field for him. Mark Huron has made a pit stop after striking the wall. Dave Daniels is starting to work his way back through all the lap cars that snuck around when he got stuck behind the 54. Tonto giving him a little bit of grief though. Alright, well after that big mix-up, top 10, Dave Daniels continues to lead. Frank Womack is in 2nd. Ramondre Diggs, now your 3rd place runner. To see if they've got that car singing. Patrick Calgill and Reigns have just passed Beresford, moved themselves up into 4th and 5th, it looks like. Beresford fading backwards. Bontempi up into 6th. And into 7th. Monseves has just moved past Beresford. I think Scott Drake is going to make a similar charge here. David Baldinger into the top 10. We're now down to 23 cars on the lead lap. Beresford kind of struggling. He's going backwards, losing another spot now to Jackson Batcher. Baldinger now having to think about what Batcher's got behind him. So, group of 4 cars racing hard for positions in the top 10. Baldinger trying to take a look to the inside. And he's going to get the spot. Doug Sparks making a little bit of a charge up to the field here now. He had faded back a ways, but I believe he's worked his way up into, what is that going to be, 16th spot? 17th he's up to. You see Philip Parker way back here. This has been a good car early in the running. Now in the back half of the top 20. As Spark having to fight now with Zeller. Yep, he's going to lose 2 spots there. Might be a slow rise through the field for him if he can make it happen. Up at the front, Womack's still hunting, but not getting there. 37 cars still run. Mark Huron is 2 laps down. Ben White 6. We've got Mersdorf, Stout, York, Polson, Painter, Armstrong, Tonto, Stello, Courtney, Ramaswamy, and Fitzmaurice 1 lap down. Everybody else on the lead lap. Huron trying to charge back here. He also has slightly fresher tires, but not that much fresher than these guys. Frank slowly closing in on the back of this, and him getting harassed by this 01 is not going to make this job of holding off Frank any easier for him. Jim Fitzmaurice in the middle of this too. And here's Frank Womack. Frank's going to go for the lead here. Jim's going to open it up. Is that going to let Frank come on through? Not that lap, but it's going to be a fight this lap. A little bit of run on the outside for Daniels, but Womack's going to try to clear him here in the middle of the corner. And he cleared him. Frank Womack, new leader. And he's going to immediately try to put Jim back down a lap. 54, what kind of lap times is he running? 54 is running 25.2s. He's a second off what he had been running. Watch the whole field come by from the static camera here high atop turn 2. Get an idea how much space is out there now. A few cars have been eliminated. Here comes the front of the field again. Some gaps in the traffic out there. Not as heavy as it was earlier before the first caution. Drone cam out over turn 4. This drone is perfectly stationary. Don't worry about it. It's a weird camera. I don't know why it's here. Front of the field is catching the slower lap cars here pretty quick. Yeah, Daniels hasn't fallen completely away from Frank here. Frank's had a good start to the season thus far. Should be well established for himself to be in the top 20 and will not have to be racing his way in after Atlanta. Daniels is right with him now. Past Mersdorf. That'll put him a second lap down. Mark Huron really would hope for a caution to get one of his laps back. Won't put him all the way back into this thing, but it'll help. Daniels really staying with him here. Keeping him honest. And not letting him play games in traffic. He's going to take a peek to the inside. Doesn't get far enough alongside to finish the pass at the start-finish line, but he's going to try for it here in the corner. Still working him here. Had it at the line, it looked like. And he did. Dave Daniels goes back into the lead here. Womack gonna make another challenge, and he's gonna take this lead back from the looks of it. Two of them are currently in a class of their own. They got a good gap to anybody behind. And Frank goes back to the lead. Alright, I guess we can go through the field here while we wait to see what happens here. Womack leading again over Daniels. Patrick Calgill in third. Got Rains right with him. Good run for Rains so far. Andre Diggs in fifth. Jared Mogard in sixth behind. Parker coming back to the front in seventh. Mike Carroll in eighth. Ninth, Tommy Davis 10th. Matt Bontempi 11th. Beresford. Mark Guthrie in 12th, Aaron Cummings in 13th. Scott Drake running 14th, 15th, Doug Spark, 16th, Brandon Cruz Monseves. Raybo Womack in 17th, 18th, Ronaldo Scott, 19th, PDJ Zauer, 20th, Jackson Vatcher, 21st, belongs to Stephen Davis. Stephen Lowe in 22nd. 23rd, last car in the lead lap, is David Baldinger. And that is all of the lead lap cars. 23 cars in the lead lap, 37 cars running. Frank's trying to stretch this thing out now. Starting to catch David Baldinger. We'll have to see if we get a green flag run up through pit stops this time or not. Traffic at play again at the front of the field. Gonna go around Ron Stout here. Put him a second lap down. And now Baldinger in the crosshairs. Daniels closed back up again. Ooh, Daniels got on the apron, lost a ton of momentum there. I thought he had a problem there for a second, but I think he's okay. Just one of those unforced errors. He was the one supposed to be causing the error, not making it, as David Baldinger has lost a lap now. Cost him nearly half a second. And here goes 57 down another lap. Stephen Lowe now last car on the lead lap. Gonna have to try to fight to stay on that lead lap. And Daniels now fading away, and we're seeing cars in the pit lane. I think it is about time for green flag stops. Short pitting, if it doesn't add an extra pit stop at the end of the race, would give you an advantage. You'll have a tire advantage coming out of the pits. At least I thought I saw a couple cars in the pits. The 3 car was certainly in the pits, yeah? Was that... Oh, no, those were flat tires for the 3 and the 79. They must have gotten together. I thought it was awful early for green flag pit stops. They might be able to rebound and get some of their time back, but that's not going to be ideal as Daniel starts to close back up again. And Stephen Lowe loses a lap. We're now down to 19 cars on the lead lap. Stephen Davis is now the last car in the lead lap, but he's got a little bit of room before you're going to see him work into these camera shots. Frank gets a little high. Daniels to the inside. looking for the spot here. As Mark Huron comes to the pits, he had pitted at an odd time. Has he had another issue? No report of an issue on that team. Daniels is taking the lead again for the moment. Thatcher is now last car in the lead lap right here in front of these guys, but Womack's going to get a good power down the backstretch. Mark had been making up some ground there, but to have to pit again, that kind of shoots all that to pieces. Trying to just run him as hard as he can without getting himself in trouble here. You never know when a yellow might come out after all. And being on the lead lap would be a big thing. Ooh, here comes Daniels. He's going to make a race out of this again. Tires really worn now, though. Third place starting to close in. That gap's coming down. These guys race. Daniels is going to take the lead. Alright, Dave Daniels to the lead now. As Womack had to catch his car off turn 4. Big checkup. Frank can close back in. He hasn't started to yet. '79 has fresher tires than everybody else. Trying to make some advantage and get around the leader and then hope for a caution, and he's going to get blocked by Thatcher. The 3's coming behind. Similar situation on that 3 car. Here they both come all at once. Here comes Calgill and Parker. They can get around the leader and then get lucky. They might be able to make some hay here somehow. Right there on his bumper, just about pushing him off the corner. And here's the 54 gonna block the leader. That was not what Daniels needed. He's getting a little bit of a gap to Womack, but he's gonna lose a lot of that time now. Thatcher has lost the lap, as you can see here. And Stephen Davis is going to be next. Daniels gets to his inside and takes the spot away. It's going to push down to 17 cars on the lead lap. Ronaldo Scott, the next victim, up ahead here. '86 car would love to try to close in, but just too far back for this to really help him any. Ronaldo got a car all over him here that's trying to put him a lap down. He's going to lose a lap here pretty quickly. Here comes Frank Womack charging back at Dave Daniels. Ooh, Ronaldo cut him off. Kind of settled into a nice little two-car fight for the win so far, although we got a lot of distance to cover still. Daniels got a good run there. Guess we go through the field again, get you a little updated. As you can see, Dave Daniels is still leading. Womack's still trying to chase him down. Let's go back and find our third place car. How much further back the track is he? There he is. There's Reigns. Then Mogard is worked his way up to fourth. Fifth is Tommy Davis. Mark Guthrie up to sixth. Seventh, Mike Carroll. Adam Beresford's in eighth. Ninth, Aaron Cummings. 10th, Andre Diggs. 11th, Brendan Cruz Monseves. Raybo Womack has just taken the 12th spot, and Doug Spark has just moved up to 13th. It's going to put Matt Bontempi in 14th, PJ Zeller in 15th, and Scott Drake in 16th. That's the last car on the lead lap, and you see the leader coming to the back of this shot. 16 cars on the lead lap now. 37 cars running. One caution thus far. And where has Frank gone? Has Frank Womack pitted? Or has he had an issue? Looking for Frank Womack. Paging Frank Womack. Yes, Frank Womack has pitted for a brake issue. That was not a scheduled stop for Womack. And the 78 has blown a motor. So everything going weird all at once. 78 gonna make it to a safe spot. Yeah, he's gonna clear the end of that wall and he can pull in there. So Womack is now way off sequence. That moves Reigns up to second. 78 is apparently really trying to drive it back. I don't know if that's a wise decision. So that takes a lot of drama out of the front of this field. And Scott Drake's about to go down a lap here. Bontempi dives to the pits. 78 done for the day. So that'll be another retirement from this race. I think we might be seeing some of these stops might be scheduled, so Frank might have lucked out. Yep, scheduled stop. Here comes Daniel. So Frank might be okay. That might actually worked out for him if it wasn't too long of a stop. Daniel's going all the way down to the end, looking for his box. And in he comes. So Reigns will lead the lap here. And the Daniels pit stop is done. He's going to pull away. Beresford now leads as Reigns has come to the pits, I believe. Contact happening back here. Cycle of pit stops continues. Let's see where Frank ends up in the cycle. Ow, my back. Ben White coming to the pits. He was already a million laps down, so that doesn't make a whole lot of difference. '79 now displayed as the leader. He's off sequence, so he's not going to be pitting for a while. I don't think. We're seeing Daniels now P2. Yeah, I don't know how long you'll see this 79 continue to be the leader, to be honest with you. '56 going to try to get a lap back here just in case we get a yellow. So I think the way we've cycled here, Daniels will end up the leader again, but he is not currently. It's Daniels, Mogard, Carroll, Womack, Beresford. Sorry. Let's try that again, getting the names right. Parker currently leads, but off sequence with Daniels, who will take over the lead. Then Mogard, Guthrie, Womack, Beresford, then Mike Carroll. Aaron Cummings, Cruz Montseves, Diggs, and then the other Womack is what we're looking at the moment. We still have a few cars that haven't actually completed their stops. Let's see what's happening with the gap here at the front of the field. Should be coming down, I would expect. It's coming down, but not very quickly. If Parker can get a yellow, they're going to be in good shape here. Now the gap's starting to come down. 41's gotten themselves back on the lead lap. So how long can Parker stay out here? And does anybody have anything for Daniels now? Because Womack lost a lot of time with that unscheduled stop, but wasn't completely put out of it because it was close to the sequence. And I'm wondering why, ow, a fire truck is pulling up. Oh, it's not a fire truck. It's the water company. Okay, that makes way more sense. The back of it looked like a fire truck because it had the stripes on there like a fire truck. Or maybe it was. Let's see what's going on out there. The water company. They're just yelling at each other out there now for some reason. You see Daniels coming up behind now. Daniels has gotten here. And Dave Daniels back to the lead. Parker still could, come out of this in good shape if he can get a yellow before too long. So, in all reality, Dave Daniels basically has a huge lead here. And can kind of just manage his pace, I would say. So was the chance of a yellow really mixing things up, which is why I would not want to use up my equipment here. Parker's going to continue to fade away. And will eventually get himself wrecked if he's not careful. We'll eventually have to make a pit stop here to complete the cycle. Jesus, okay, 2003. starting to go off the cliff, aren't they? Scott Drake really trying to put Ronaldo Scott in the infield there, jeez. So we got 10 cars on the lead lap. Off the lead lap, we got Raybo Womack and Doug Spark, 11th, 12th. Ronaldo Scott, Scott Drake, PDJ Zeller, Matt Bontempi, Jim Fitzmaurice, Jackson Vatcher, Nigel Ramaswamy, and David Baldinger to round up the top 20. 36 cars still running. 37th place will belong to Tommy Davis, who had an engine failure earlier that we all saw. The 79 cars losing ground quick. The 79 team would love to see a caution right about now. Probably set them up real good. Everybody would pit. They'd be on cycle with track position and on the lead lap. But there's going to be a danger zone for them where they have to pit before everybody else. Or if a yellow comes out, it's going to end their day. I don't know if this runs green, whether their strategy even pans out. Here comes a battle now. Here comes Mogard. Back to third goes Parker as Mogard comes through. It's going to be a slow descent, I suspect, for this car to the field as they get picked off one after the other. Closing on the last 100 laps, and we're down to 9 cars on the lead lap now, as Daniels has passed Ramondre Diggs. 79's really starting to struggle. Look at how quickly Mark Guthrie's going to catch him. Yep, and here goes the 4th spot. Guthrie up to 4th. Oh, he didn't quite get it at the line, but he's got it now. Frank. Frank gonna overhaul him here. Womack trying to rebound from a slightly early pit stop. And I think it was a slow one too. Just don't know if he's gonna be able to do it.
New player.
I wonder whom's that could be. Ahoy hoy and welcome to Rockingham.
Hello, Timothy. I'm not at Rockingham.
Well, Bonanza's at Rockingham.
I'm not there.
Are you not... Didn't you just qualify for the extravaganza race?
The extravaganza's at Rockingham, too?
Yes.
Oh, well then, yeah.
How are you enjoying the rain?
Tried it once. It was kind of fun.
I can't wait for oval rain action. Do you imagine qualifying at Daytona, you go down the backstretch and hit a cloudburst of rain and die? Here comes Cummings. Yeah, I set up one session where I set up a timeline so it would start raining like 5-10 minutes into the session to see how the track gets wet and all that. So I'm out there in a GTP car on slicks and it starts raining like halfway through my outlap and I'm like, well, the tires are hot. I got 2 laps in as the track started to get wet before I went, yep, need wets now. Like 1 lap in it, it's like the session's been declared wet. And the second lap, it started to see the water pooling, started feeling the grip go away. I went, yeah, let's see what the wet tires are like. And, oh my god, cold wets? Not fun. Alright, Parker is now the last car in the lead lap. There are 8 cars in the lead lap. And there's some dirt. The 58 has lost the motor. Attrition continues. That one's not going to make it around. We'll have to see if they decide they need a caution for that, if they think they can recover. And Parker's screaming for a yellow. Yeah, looks like we stayed green. Lap 200. 58 done for the day. Look at this traffic. We're asking for something stupid to happen here. And the 79 gonna lose that lap. Now he needs it to cycle through on pit stops again before any sort of yellow happens. Otherwise, it's gonna be bad times for him. So that leaves 35 cars running now. 7 on the lead lap. As Daniels is going to try to lap the field now. So Frank's got his way back up to 4th, but...
Sounds like they're pretty busy at Thor Sport.
Oh, why's that?
I don't know, Zach said he's worked like 12 hours the last 3 days.
That's not a lot.
Nah, 12 hours each day.
Oh, I think it meant 12 hours total the last 3 days. I'm like,
Nah.
I don't know, did somebody wreck all their trucks?
They didn't even wreck one last week. But he said they got a brand new truck going to... Oh, wait, you're on a stream. Never mind.
Correct. They got a brand new truck with cheat suspension going to the Bristol Dirt Race. Yes.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the micros that they gave us?
I had a good time in it.
I did some laps with the micro sprint at the mini Kern and went, okay, that's vaguely interesting, but I don't think it's something I would race.
I did that too. I did it at mini Kern and I didn't have any fun at all. And then I ran a league race at Lanier in the winged, and it was a lot of fun.
Now, when is
Now it was fun because I won, but
when do we see all the hosted sessions 410s at Millbridge?
I don't know. I'm waiting for big blocks in Millbridge, but I also don't have Millbridge yet.
Yeah, I think, was it Kevin I was talking to? It was like, seems like kind of an L to take for that not to be paid, for that to be paid content, not part of the subscription if you're going to give us the mini sprints and stuff, but you know. I also think that asking us to pay for the SRX car, asking us to pay for a series that is dead in real life is probably not going to pan out for the long-term health of that series, but we'll see.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Now, maybe they'll get some suckers that'll pay for it for the first season or two, and then, like, by the end of the year, it'll become, you know, base content. That's a possibility, and then it'll do fine because I could see that being a very popular car if it's free and runs, you know, free a bunch of the free short ovals and a bunch of the free dirt tracks. That could be a very popular series because what, like Thompson, South Boston, is Stafford free now? They made that free, didn't they?
I don't know.
I thought they put Stafford in base content, but you know, like Lanier Dirt, USA Dirt with that, like they'd have plenty of tracks that it. I guess the only problem I could see with it is maybe it starts competing with the two street stock series. I don't know. Oh, Philip Parker is pitted.
I don't foresee there being any interest in racing it officially.
Yeah, I'd be curious just because we never got to see it, how that car would be like on a road course. That was the thing I kept thinking. Oh, SRX, you need to find a nice slow road course one. Like Mid-Ohio, I think would have been good for that kind of car. That the straightaway's not long enough to really be worried about the car going too fast.
Mid-Ohio?
You don't think Mid-Ohio would be good for that car?
They got a really long straightaway.
They just have the one straightaway, and it's not that long. Especially not for a car like that. I don't know. What road course do you think they could have run those on?
Lime Rock.
Lime Rock? Isn't the main straightaway Lime Rock faster than the back straightaway at Mid-Ohio, though?
I have no idea.
I feel like it's probably actually comparable. Lime Rock would have been good for him, although I don't know. Lime Rock gets goofy with, you know, all the shit around Lime Rock, but I'm trying to think. Like Watkins Glen would not be great with those cars because they'd be going too fast for what that car is. Sonoma's just nowhere near where they ever raced those cars. Did they ever get out west? I'm trying to remember. Didn't they run like Evergreen or something? I'm trying to remember what.
I don't think so.
I feel like they had one race that was really far out west, but that may have just been Wisconsin.
Slinger?
Yeah. I mean, they could have run a Roval with them, I suppose. Like, there's plenty of Rovals. Like, the Texas infield road course would have been fun with those cars. I don't know, that was sort of the thing that I was always a little disappointed with SRX. That what was the biggest track they went to was what, half mile?
Yeah.
Like, I would have liked to have seen them try some 1 mile tracks like Milwaukee. I think the biggest thing you would ever want to consider oval-wise for those cars is maybe Gateway? Like, the shape of Gateway might have made it okay, because I don't think turn 1 and 2 would be flat in that car. 3 and 4 probably are. Probably be about like running supers there on iRacing.
Some of the guys from that other league bought the SRX, and they said that it was like driving the street stock we never got, like the real street stock.
The one that they keep saying we're going to get eventually, and then we never see it. Like, and by they, I mean Dale Jr. keeps insinuating that it's happening, and then it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine it would be something close to the late model, honestly. The other thing, and I think it finally clicked for me, the aesthetics of that car, I think I finally nailed down what they look like. They look like something some kid made for Roblox. Like, it's just such a oddball design for no reason. It really is like Ray said, well, I want a big old wing like the Roadrunner Superbird or the Charger Daytona, and then I want a wedge nose. It's like I don't know, and we're gonna put these cutouts in the back that look like taillights that are giant red X's for SRX. It's like, okay, I don't know. You think we ever see this IROC rebirth that's allegedly happening?
I have no idea.
I'd like to see that happen, and like that to, like, if SRX dies so that IROC can come back, I'm kind of okay with it, but I bet that's not what's going to happen. Well, Parker just went back around the leader, but that's going to put him 1 lap down instead of 2.
I've been practicing Lincoln in the Pro Late model. That's where they're at today. Trying to get practice for the big block week 1, because I don't know the track. Come to a conclusion, I don't like the track.
That's a shame. gotten to drive any of the new road courses they gave you?
No. I should drive him in the rain. First time ever seeing him.
Yeah, drive them in the rain on slicks the first time you ever see them. That's a great plan. I'm trying to remember which ones they made free that you didn't already have, because it was all stuff I already had. What? Winton, Snetterton,
Oschersleben.
Oschersleben, yeah.
And,
Yeah,
Ledanen?
Yeah, I think I raced that track maybe once. It was it was kind of fun in a TCR car, but yeah.
Well, the Battle of the Little Wings is at Ledanen this week.
You mean today?
Today. The two-frame twister is at Oschersleben.
Isn't Little Wings supposed to have rain? But like I saw somewhere on Reddit that apparently they bugged that one and it wasn't raining when it was supposed to.
I don't know.
I think Little Wings, what are they running? The Formula 4 and the Formula Ford? Which is weird for Little Wings, but they've multiple times done Battle of the Little Wings with cars with no wings.
So how can you say 21% chance of rain when I don't think any of the cars in the Little Wings series can run in the rain?
What are the cars?
The Ray 1600.
Yeah, that's rain enabled.
Really?
Yeah. Almost the other
Super
one.
Formula Light.
I believe that is also rain enabled.
And the F4?
The F4 is definitely rain enabled. It was on my list when I was testing it, yeah. I haven't run any of the open wheel stuff in the rain. I've only run closed top. I honestly have found maybe the rain I was running wasn't heavy enough that I needed it, but that the wiper was more distracting than helpful.
So Ledanen in what, France?
I thought it was in the UK.
It is France. So
I'm thinking of a different track. I'm thinking of Lytton Hill.
Oh, okay. So like Luton Town?
Sure.
So maybe they're going to practice the two-frame twister, which is street stock at Oschersleben. Or,
now, I will remind you, are you familiar with the commentary? The guy who designed that first corner needs to be taken to a dark room and beat about the head?
I've heard that about some tracks, maybe not this one.
I believe that was the chicane at the beginning of the lap at Oschersleben. Although it's been redesigned since then, I believe.
So do I want to drive that or Ledanen?
I mean, if you want to experience, run the Formula Ford and hope for rain, that could be exciting.
21% is not that good a chance.
Yeah, that's true. Kevin had said something about street stocks in the rain. I don't know what he was talking about. You can't run street stocks in the rain. So, I don't know what he was talking about when he said that in the Telegram chat. Man, I almost think this race needs a caution. Otherwise, Dave Daniels might win this thing by a lap and stink up the show like that time that Alex guy did that at Milwaukee.
Although, one thing is if I do the rain-enabled stuff, I could look at the radar and actually get a look at it. Every session I've been in, it's either been me testing with 100% chance of rain, or it's been me and somebody else's session with 0% chance of rain.
So the Sebring practice I did, I got a screenshot of it where I set up a timeline that like this band of rain pushed through. You could see it on the radar pushing across the track. And it stopped raining at one end of the track before the other. It was really kind of cool. Like the rain stopped, and then I came around the far end of the track and started coming back, and I drove back into the rain. Which is a nice realistic thing that I think they had mentioned was going to be a thing that could happen. I am terrified about races with rain enabled at the Nürburgring.
That's what they all are this week.
Yeah, that's like I just imagine starting the race, dry tires, you go out just as you pass pit lane, you hear somebody say, "It's raining at Bergwerk." It's like it's raining at the far end of the track. It's like soaking wet on one end of the track. It doesn't even hit the other half of the track. So it's like, what tires do I want? Do I want to die on one part of the track or suffer on the other? Green flag pit stops.
We're going to try Ledanen first.
Yeah, I remember it being vaguely fun.
I will say I'm much better at the street stock than I am in the FF 1600, whatever it's called, the Ray.
Yeah, it's a Formula Ford. That's just what I call it. I find that to be a very enjoyable car. I seem to be halfway decent with the last time I was running it. Like, I would describe the pace I seem to have was mid-pack for top split, seemed to be where I usually was. And so if it was, if it was a no splitter, it wasn't as good. If we actually got like 2 or 3 splits, I could get into a really fun race and be competitive. It was great. Alright, is Dave Daniels pitting here from the lead? He is. I don't know if you've taken a look at any of the stream. I finally did the thing I was talking about doing where I did a whole bunch of just random colored pit boxes and assigned them to the cars so they don't all have the same pit box anymore.
Good idea.
I forget who complained about it, if it was Tony or Kevin or who it was. It's like, yeah, I've been meaning to do that, so I finally just did it. Although some of them might be a little too vibrant, but I don't really care. I have like 16 different colored pit boxes and just assign them randomly based on kind of car color and what would look halfway decent.
Happy birthday, Tony. So I'm going to assume that the Formula Ford is much slower than the F4 and the Super Formula.
Yes, the Super Formula car. Is it the Super Formula or the Super Formula Light?
Light.
I think this SF Light is pretty close to an F3 car. The F4 car is going to be slower, and then the Formula Ford is way slower.
You know that Dale Jr. picture that they have like at every track with him and that other guy? Yeah, the first scenic screenshot I see of Circuit de Ladnon is him and that guy standing in like a castle.
Isn't that him and Steve Myers?
Is it him? I thought so.
Jared Mogard leads, but he hasn't pitted yet. And let's see, Philip Parker, I think, is right here with Dave Daniels now, and desperately either needs this to go green to the end or for a yellow to come out after it all cycles through. Because somehow Parker got off strategy. No, actually I think Parker's like a lap down now. Okay, he lost a lot of time there on old tires, but he just got a lap back, but I don't think he's going to hold it.
So it just rained here. Track is lightly wet.
I would not go out on slicks until you get a feel for the track.
Well, I don't see where I choose that.
In the tire settings, you should be able to change what tire you're on. It should be like a toggle between dry and wet.
I don't think they have that in the Formula Ford.
That may be a all-weather tire then. I know the 8.6 and the GTP car certainly had tire options, but that may be a all-weather tire then.
Oh yeah, track certainly is wet.
Yes, but don't drive through the puddles and stay off the curbs.
Hey man, I don't know anything about this track.
That's why I'm giving you the blanket warnings. Avoid the puddles and stay off the curbs.
Yeah, it would help if I knew where the curbs were at this track and the paint.
They'll be painted. Just watch out for anything with paint on it. Granted, that car's pretty hard to spin up if you're not in like the wrong gear entirely.
Yeah, there's like actually a lot of rain on this. Spinning.
Crunch.
Oh, some guy in a Formula Ford just spun right next to me. Dig, I just heard myself drive through a puddle.
Yeah, the sound effects are great. The spotter calls are great. Keep in mind you have a new weather black box in case you hadn't seen it. So let's see, after the final cycle of pit stops, I think, Dave Daniels leads by 15 seconds over Frank Womack, who had an unscheduled pit stop at one point. Then we got Mike Carroll, Mark Guthrie, Jared Mogard, Aaron Cummings, and Adam Beresford. Those are all the lead lap cars. Then Philip Parker, Brandon Cruz-Monseves, Doug Spark, Ramondre Diggs, Scott Drake, Jackson Batcher, Jim Fitzmaurice, Ronaldo Scott, Petey Zeller. Then 2 laps down, David Baldinger, Nigel Ramaswamy, Stephen Davis, Tony Tonto Jr., Stephen Lowe, Mark Huron, That is Alex Stello, Jack Painter, JT Armstrong, 3 laps down. David Courtney, Joe Polson, Ron Stout, Connor Germain, Dwight York. 4 laps down, Patrick Calgill and Rains. 5 laps down, Joe Mersdorf. The 19 is 10 laps down, that's Ben White. Then out of the race, Rabo Womack blew an engine. I didn't even notice. Matt Bontempi blew an engine. Tommy Davis blew an engine. Kevin got caught up in a wreck that was caused by somebody else blowing an engine. So did Sean Cheeseman was in that wreck. The cause of it was Ken Joint. Brian Lowe blew an engine, and Broderick Whitman all out of the race, blown engines. Got like 40 to go.
Forgot about Patrick Calgill.
Yeah, I have no idea if I'm pronouncing his name right. Is it Calgill or Calgill?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I'm just going to say it the way I'm going to say it. Something I need to find out, because I forget, who was it on here that had mentioned that they think that Yo Dog is no longer Brandon Rains?
I think it's JB, and I'm pretty sure he's not.
Yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, if I'm going to continue to have them in the series, I would like to, like, maybe get that right, but it's one of the reasons why I usually just use the last name now, assuming they're even using that.
I do wish you could get stuck in the sand trap when it's raining.
I, at Gateway, spun off at turn 2, and there's like a little ditch there, and water had pooled in the ditch, it seemed like, and I had a hard time getting out up the hill. I had to kind of build speed and then climb it, so it certainly can get yourself in a bad spot. But, I mean, you can't even get stuck in the kitty litter in the dry, and that's something I'd like to see. Like, for realism, I would like that. For, like, gameplay reasons, it kind of would suck to, you know, get spun off and be completely stuck. I remember, I think they changed it when they patched N4. So I remember playing N4 unpatched, that you could get stuck in the sand traps pretty badly, like Watkins Glen. To go. I think Dave Daniels is just going to try to lap the field now.
Track is really drying out.
The more cars that are out there, and the drier the air is, yeah.
Come on.
Something I meant to do with a rain-enabled car was put it on an oval and see what happens if you just like have it raining in Texas.
Me and Zach were saying we don't know if you can do that.
Well, given that I ran Gateway Roval with rain, and Oval 3 and 4 were, you know, damp and there was water pooling near the curb on the inside, I think you could. Now, why you would want to run, like, the F4 at Texas in the rain, I don't know. And what the tire would do and, you know, how the track would react. I did notice, I think my third flying lap, I charged turn 1, completely locked up, hydroplaned off onto the oval, and there was no grip on the apron of the oval there for some reason. I'm like, this is weird.
Dang. Every once in a while, you just hit some place that doesn't look like there's any water, and you just spin.
You're probably hitting like some paint or a surface change where the surface is slicker.
Maybe.
The thing to look out for, especially on some of these tracks, that the groove itself, the normal dry groove, gets so polished and has so much rubber on it that just crossing over that will be very slick, which is why the rain line is usually to move off the actual racing line. My inner Brian France is telling me that I should just throw a yellow to spice this race up, but I don't think Tony would be happy with me if I did that.
He probably wouldn't care.
I should have thrown one when a car was grinding to a halt in the tri-oval with a blown motor. That would have been a legitimate time for a yellow. If that happens again, I'm throwing a yellow. We've had 2 or 3 cars blow up and grind to a halt and not get a yellow for any of them. And those really should be yellows when the car doesn't get back. But I mean, at this point, we've got 7 cars, about to be 6 cars on the lead lap. And honestly, throwing a yellow probably would be really good for Frank Womack and nobody else. Top 10 runs so far for Doug Spark. Did you see they put new damage model on the old Indy car? Now, if only they give us AI, then I could move the NORL Open Wheel Racing League over to iRacing instead of 2003 and have, you know, it simulated way better.
I just completely cleaned some guy out the same place I spun last time.
Did you spin and clean him out?
I got sideways and he saved me from spinning.
And Adam Beresford has gone down a lap. 6 cars now on the lead lap. As it'll be 30 to go at the line here. Battle here for the 3rd spot. We got Mark Guthrie, Jared Mogard, and Mike Carroll all kind of near each other at least. And to do a Tony thing, they're all sponsored by things that you can eat. I would not suggest combining their sponsors, but you could eat them individually and be perfectly happy.
Can't wait for official rain races.
They're going to be great. I mean, they got to be working on rain tire short track shit for the NASCAR package, right? Because that's a real thing. Have we gotten a Cup points race where they've done that yet? And I already forgot about it?
I don't know.
I don't think... I think the trucks in Xfinity have had... like a rain. I know there was one at Martinsville for one of those 2 series. I just don't remember which one. I don't think the
trucks
Cup cars
at Martinsville.
Yeah, I don't think the Cup cars have done it yet, though.
No.
I remember rooting for it at the LA Coliseum. And of course, you know, we've done it on the road course to great effect at COTA, huh? That was one of those things. I remember NASCAR sim racing. You could do testing sessions in the rain for some reason on the road courses. And it was just very strange. Mersdorf pitting. Doug Spark just dropped out of the top 10, but we'll see if he can't rally back. comes Jared looking at the pass on Mark Guthrie. Up into third for Jared.
Jared Mogart.
Yeah. And the Berea number 15. Well, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth are all getting pretty tight here on the track, and they're all sponsored by food-related items. You have pasta, granola bars, fake meat, and Waffle House. Aaron's going to try to pass Mike Carroll here. Move Aaron up to fifth. Doug Spark just went back into 10th. You and Ramondre Diggs here slowly catching the 79. I don't know if they have enough laps to get there, though.
See, they came up with a schedule for next season. So we have the Rockingham Challenge schedule.
I hadn't even looked yet. Anything running the Rockingham road course?
Nope.
Darn. Frank is slowly catching the lead, but he's 16 seconds back, and there's like 25 to go. Actually, not even that. There's like 15 to go. Like, he doesn't have the time to get there. But I think Doug Spark and Diggs are going to catch Phil Parker here, who's on a different tire strategy, and I think can make the end of the race, but is going to have really worn tires. Caught him. Doug Spark gonna battle for ninth here on a car with really worn out tires. He's got an advantage over it. But he's got a lead lap car kind of gumming up the works here. Mike, go. Pass him. Do it. Do the thing. And the leader's coming up behind him here. Phil Parker's going to fall out of the top 10. Doug Spark up to 9th. Well, 41 didn't get a run there. Ah, there it is. It's going to be 10 to go at the line for the leader here. Gonna put 10th 2 laps down here in a second. Dave Daniels just needs to bring this car home. He's got this thing in the bag. He's got a 17-second lead. He's knocking on putting 6th place a lap down. Or he could just drive into the side of Doug Spark and wreck himself. That would be smart.
Let's go!
Hey, oh, let's go.
I mean, I know the track's getting faster because it's drying out, but I just ran the fastest lap in here for the Formula Ford.
Woo!
And all it took was me finally not spinning in the rubber in that one corner.
5 to go.
Oh. Someone shared a setup for the Formula Ford for Rudskogen.
That's helpful.
That'll work.
They're both racetracks, right?
Well, I don't know. I'm faster than him, so maybe it's not that good a setup, but at least I should try it, I think.
Doug Spark goes 2 laps down. Dave Daniels had a bobble down the front stretch. Doug Spark's going to try to get one of his laps back. I don't think it's working. It didn't work. Two to go at the line, and Tony Tonto Jr. just pitted.
It's
Are people short on gas?
not Piazza's birthday.
I don't see a mechanical report. That car must have just been short on gas. So Tony Tonto Jr. pits with 2 to go. It'll be the white flag this time for Dave Daniels. Mike Carroll just hanging on to the lead lap. White flag for Dave Daniels. Tony Tonto Jr. coming out right in front of the leader. Mike Carroll's going to get lapped coming to the checkered flag. Dave Daniels is going to win at Rockingham. A bunch of cars are coming down the pit lane here at the checkered flag, so I guess some of them were short on fuel. Frank Womack's going to come home second. Jared holds off Mark Guthrie. And Aaron Cummings comes home 5th, last car on the lead lap. Full running order. Dave Daniels, Frank Womack, Jared Mogard, Mark Guthrie, Aaron Cummings, Mike Carroll, Adam Beresford, Brandon Cruz Monseves, Doug Spark, Ramondre Diggs, Jim Fitzmaurice, PDJ Zeller, Scott Drake, Ronaldo Scott, Jackson Vatcher, Philip Parker, Nigel Ramaswamy, Stephen Lowe, Stephen Davis, Jack Painter, Alex Tello, Mike Huron, Ron Stout, Joe Polson, David Baldinger, Connor Germain, Tony Tonto Jr., David Courtney, Dwight York, JT Armstrong, Brandon Rains, Patrick Calgill, Joe Mersdorf, and Ben White. Out of the race, Raybo Womack, Matt Buntepi, Tommy Davis, Ken? How about Kevin Corbett, John Cheeseman, Ken Joint, Brian Lowe, and Broderick Whitman.
See the AI artwork of NASCAR racing at Dodger Stadium?
Jesus Christ, do I want to?
No, actually they're racing clockwise.
That's a choice. Alright, let's see what this has done for our points. after next week at Atlanta, we'll finally have this season's points to go off of, and we won't have to use last season's. It'll help me a little bit. There's just, Tony gave me too many cars. I think I'm going to have to say for next season, Tony, there can't be more than like 50-something full-time cars. Otherwise, it means every week I have to do 2 qualifiers. We have 70-some-odd cars. There's 20 locked in. That leaves 50-something cars that I have to do qualifying with. That means I can't do it as 1 session. I have to do it as 2. It's also part of the reason you're not going to see very many extravaganza regulars run Bonanza races this season, because there's already too many fucking cars. Alright, point standings. Frank Womack continues to lead. Dave Daniels up to 2nd. Mark Guthrie picked up 7 spots. Mike Carroll picked up 2. Jared Mogart up 12. Adam Beresford up 7. Ken Joint down 5. Aaron Cummings up 8. Ronaldo Scott down 2. Patrick Calgill down 5. Philip Parker picked up 3. Stephen Lowe down 1. Roger Whitman down 9. Mark Huron picked up 1. Cruz picks up 9. Scott Drake up 7. Doug Spark up 10 spots into 17th. Into the top 20 for now. Stephen Davis 18th. Ramondre Diggs in 7th. Jack Painter in 20th. Rebo Womack lost a bunch. Cheeseman lost a bunch. What happened to Kevin? Kevin dropped 7 spots. He's out of the top 20. He needs a good race at Atlanta. PDJ Zeller up 12 spots. He's 44th in points now. Only got 57 cars that have scored points out of the 70-something that are attempting. There are cars I don't think we're ever going to get to see make a race. It's really upsetting to me.
So guys that don't make the field don't get points?
So for Orange County, because it wasn't a 43-something odd, a full field for the main, I gave points to the remaining cars from the 2 fastest heats in order of speed. So that made it so actually 44 cars scored points that week, and made it so that some of these guys, like I'm willing to bet Adriano Fraporti, Lawrence Van Buren, Oscar Ortiz, Jacob Stumpf, Seb Alexander, Larry Sheldrick, Gene Stapleton, Scott Deutsch, Yard Rodriguez, and Tom Barber. That's probably where all their points came from. But yeah, there are guys that are, like, Joju Ibushi is never going to make a race because of how poorly his ratings are, because of the, like, we have 6 tiers. Tony put nobody in tier 1, and there's so many cars in tiers 2, 3, and 4, that the tier 5 and 6 cars are not making races. Like, the ones that are in races, it's because they're locked in from points from last season. So, there might be a couple of more cars that start making the field that are in some of those mid-tiers once we get past Atlanta, and we stop having some of the ones that just are not competitive in the race, but yeah. And that is the end of the stream. Thank you for watching Bonanza Action.